Hi, welcome to the STEAM problem. My name is Adam Coe, and we'll be looking at how special populations access and pursue STEAM. STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Before STEAM, there was STEM. Arts was not included. However, with the inclusion of arts, there's more access for people to gain entry involvement with STEAM. And when we talk about special populations and their access and pursuit of STEAM, it helps to have the arts component in there. So we'll be looking at two special populations. We'll be looking at my school that I worked at and what type of student needs there are. And we'll also look at two interventions that would be helpful to meet those needs. So again, welcome and let's get started. The first population is gender. This graph was taken from 2009. It looked at men and women and how they statistically represent the whole economy in terms of the job force. Here, women make up 48% of the whole workforce in 2009. However, when it comes to STEM jobs, women, their role, the representation shrunk significantly to 24%, less than a quarter. So why? What's the reason for that? Well, let's explore some possible reasons and explanations. Our first one, we're going to get some help from Pinky, it's right here, and Brain. These two characters came out of a cartoon in the 90s where one of them was a little bit, quote, insane, and the other one was more of an intellectual. So some people might say, oh, the reason for the gender gap in regards to STEM jobs is that one gender is just not as good as the other gender, or is not as intellectual as the other gender, and so forth. Kind of like Pinky and the Brain. This myth is actually false, according to Eliot. It was found that there is no mental or ability difference between the quote blue and quote pink brains. So, with no physical mental brain difference, what could attribute to that difference in this STEAM representation? Another study was done. It looked at women and their pursuit of a STEAM career or their non-existent pursuit. And they found that the main factor is interest. So, if I had a choice and I was a female, I had a choice between STEAM and something else. Well, according to this study, that main factor is my interest. I'm just going to choose something else. So, to sum up, there's no physical, biological difference between men and women in their brains, but what this study is saying is that the interest level of STEAM jobs could explain the discrepancy in the STEAM problem in regards to the special population of gender. So let's look at another special population. Ethnicity. This graph is taken from the United States Census, and I want to point out three things, or three groups rather. On the left here, we have two columns. The lighter shade of purple, that's going to be the whole workforce, the whole labor force. The right darker purple is going to be the STEM workforce. The first group we're going to talk about is the white workforce. So they represent 67% of the whole workforce. However, in regards to the STEM workforce, they represent 71%, so slightly higher. The second group I want to look at is the African American group. They represent almost 11% of the total workforce in the United States. However, when it comes to STEAM, they only represent 6.5%. So there's a drop. The last group I want to point out is the Hispanic workforce. They make up almost 15% of the whole workforce, yet in regards to STEAM, they only make up 6.5. So there's a drop in this ethnicity group as well as this ethnicity group. So why is that? Well, let's explore some possible reasons. This slide has a wonderful picture that I would like to explain first, and then I'll get to the multicolored words. So this picture basically represents STEAM as this goal, and this road represents the pursuit and the axis of it. And along this path, there are different words that help and factor into the pursuit of STEAM. Outside of the picture are things that don't factor into the pursuit and axis of STEAM. So let's tackle these 3 studies. The first one is the purple one, done by Anderson and Ward, and they looked at tens of thousands of high school students all across America, diverse group, and they found that math aptitude was a major factor in pursuing STEAM. They found that self-efficacy was actually not a factor in pursuing STEAM. However, the study done by Simpkins, Davis, Keene, and Eccles found that self-efficacy was a factor. So self-efficacy is kind of in and kind of not in. So it's kind of half, it's cut off. The Anderson and Ward study also found that socioeconomic status was not a factor. For example, if somebody of low socioeconomic status, that doesn't mean they have a low pursuit to STEAM. We are going to look at the next study, Crisp, Knorr, and Tagger, and they surveyed over 2,000 students at a Hispanic Serving Institute. And what that basically means is about a quarter or over a quarter of the population is Hispanic. They found also that math aptitude is a factor in pursuing STEAM, as well as high school achievement. So, to sum up this slide, these are factors that help pursue a STEAM degree and career. So, let's look at another possible factor. We have these lovely students, and this person is representing the low socioeconomic student population. This student is representing the African American student population, and this student is representing the Latino student population. So, down here we actually have a teacher who looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. And this represents the unqualified teacher, someone who doesn't have a lot of teaching experience, specifically less than 3 years, and is not likely to have a degree in the subject he or she is teaching. On this side, we have a qualified teacher who's been teaching more than 3 years and is more likely to have a degree in what they're teaching. Now, where would you think that students of low socioeconomic status, African Americans and Latino students, should be taught? And I agree, they should be taught on this side with qualified teachers. Unfortunately, Elliott found that these students are more likely to find themselves on this side, where they have a teacher who's unqualified and not likely to have a degree in that subject. So this could be a possible factor in how students of certain ethnic backgrounds, specifically African Americans and Hispanics, find themselves with teachers that are not qualified, that aren't able to prepare them well to pursue a STEAM degree or career. So let's look at our school. Let's look at my school. You're welcome to come, so let's call it our school. It's called King Chavez Preparatory, where over 50% of the student body is female. Over 2/3 of the students are considered English language learners. All of them are on free reduced lunch. And in regards to 6th and 7th grade students with special needs, that's a high percentage. Ethnicity, over 97% of students are Hispanic. So these studies that we've talked about definitely apply to our school. So we gave the students a survey to find out the needs and their interest level in STEAM. We found out of 16 students, they have a huge interest in technology and arts as well as engineering. They also have expressed a huge interest and self-efficacy in seeing themselves working in a STEAM field. Almost all of them said that they see themselves working in a STEAM field. Unfortunately, a third of the students don't think that King Chavez Preparatory prepares them well for a STEAM degree or career. They've also said they want more hands-on work and more fun projects. So that's possibly maybe one of the reasons why the school is not preparing them in their minds. So let's look at 2 interventions that could possibly work. The first one is the use of technology. A study found that all students were able to demonstrate some sort of comprehension of material by using technology. And these include English language learners, students with special needs. So what does that look like? Well, an example could be this, where students in our class, they design an app, and to help them learn statistics, they design an app. They collected data from their peers in regards to whether or not they would buy the app and how well they think that this app would do. They collected the data, they graphed the data, and they analyzed it. So this is just an example of using technology. How we would evaluate this is to do an initial assessment on statistics, and after the unit, do a post-assessment and see what they learned. Also a presentation learning, so as you saw there, they would display their work and for everyone to see. Also a student survey would be helpful. Find out what they liked, what they didn't like. So that could look something like this. Did you enjoy the project? And in fact, 91% did. Did this project help you learn about statistics? And in fact, a lot of people said yes. It really helped. And finally, what was the best part of this project? And as you can see, a large portion right here, the red and the orange have to do with technology. So let's move on to another intervention. Project-based learning. PBL, as it's called, basically is a hands-on project with a product that is produced. It's found that the positive attitude is increased towards STEM through PBL, as well as it has a dramatic impact on achievement. So how do we evaluate this? Well, initially we would assess them what they know about the content, as well as afterwards, let's see, what they know post a PBL unit. We'd also do student interviews. So unlike the previous intervention, we'd find out more qualitative data. What did you learn? What did you like? What things could improve on? Another one would be presentation learning. So they would display their work. And we would see through a survey what students like. What that would look like would be something like this. For example, a project building solar cars. And as you can see here, students built their solar cars. So all in all, we aim to figure out what type of things factored into the access and pursuit of STEAM for special populations, and we hope that some of these factors and reasons explained why there was or was not access to it. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your time.